doesn't really solve their problem.
I mean, Fatebolt's alright. There's some good spells to steal. Like, you can steal Fissure. There's good wave clear. Like, you can just steal Lina's Dragon Slave if you need extra wave clear. Now, that's going to take a while, but...
This is just one of those games where if the Brood player has an exceptional game, he can win the game alone.
But we also have to keep in mind that it's pretty uncommon that we're going to see, like, safe lane farming Queen, like you called a little bit earlier. So, potentially, like, that lane, Disruptor, Queen, Rubik, it can kill the Broods, like, flat out. Like, really, how much are we expecting this Brood to get in the first couple of waves is my question.
Prepare.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's possible that they just shut Relax down enough in the first, let's say, 3 minutes that they can leave their co-op solo. The thing that sometimes happens, though, is that teams focus really hard on shutting down Brood. Like, they kill it, they gank it like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 times in lane, and then still the Brood has managed to get experience and can still push the tower and still annoy the safe lane hero. I guess if co-op gets a head start, she can actually manage, though, so I would agree with that.
They start level 1 Dust as well on Era, so they really, really want to kill early and make sure that Era is going to have that easy safe lane. Because I'm pretty sure with those rotations, like Rubik and Disruptor with the Queen, you can easily, or not Queen, excuse me, the TA, you can easily kill mid as well. So they have a lot of aggressive potential, assuming that that lane actually does favorably for them. But that means we're going to have Jonas playing Clockwork on the off lane. He's going to be going up against potentially a tri-lane coming out from basically unknown. And this tri-lane is still kind of, it's lackluster to me.
It's definitely manageable for Clockwork.
Yeah.
Slark, as you mentioned, is a difficult matchup, but Lion and Shaker are really weak level 1. They don't really deal much damage. You more or less need an absolutely perfect Fissure to kill the Clockwork. And even if he dies, like let's say Jonas dies, the question is how much attention does he draw to himself? They probably need both Shaker and Lion to kill him every single time, and that's just going to open up the map elsewhere so they can actually play their 3-on-1 against the Brood and get away with it.
Yeah. And we'll see what each offlaner is able to get in the situation. I think that the Brood is, in general, going to have a harder time like, getting himself going. But once he does, it's going to be more difficult for NiP to deal with him. Whereas Jonas might have an easier time in lane, but depending on how basically don't play, he might not be able to find his hook opportunities as easily. So it's a little bit of an interesting dynamic how these two offlaners are going to be working out for both teams. And we talked about mid, both kind of in agreement that the TA should do well here. And there shouldn't be too much roaming from either team, I would imagine, at least for some time.
Yeah, that's one of the, well, I guess the Radiant lineup is decent at roaming, but they're not good at roaming a TA.
Yeah.
They have single target burst damage. The only way they have of really dealing with Refraction is the Slark, but he can't gank. So it's going to be difficult for them to kill Limp. What they're going to do for now is that they're going to put in the Lion here to just harass and stand on the cliff and be annoying so Lina can farm. And as a result of that, we actually have a Ryze sitting on 8-2 against a 0-0 TA.
Perfect score, but also keep in mind,
absolutely unheard of.
it's a double wave.
You know, let's see how many he gets.
Yeah, probably not many, but at least getting the experience.
Wow, he's going out super aggressive. Nice impale.
Yeah, he gets a stun off as well.
He's actually not getting a single CS. All right,
he got one. He got one. We're on the board.
This is enough, though. Now you can actually leave Lina alone, and you can expect her to have a pretty good lane.
I think as the levels kind of even out, though, that it will be easier for Limp to CS in the long run than it will be for Ryze. So,
oh yeah, he just didn't get crushed, which now he'll be able to get his bottle, and then he can Dragon Slave spam.
Yeah. So top lane, Relax. He's chilling out here. He's managed to get 1 creep worth of experience. That's more than I thought, actually. I thought he would just be completely zoned. And Jonas has actually managed to secure himself level 2, but that's only because he saw Snowman sitting mid. He was able to play a bit more greedy in that off-lane position.
And the ability to, of course, change the equilibrium of the creep wave with the power cogs. Always.
Yeah, and against double melee, like Clockwork, it's not
very
scary.
easy. I'm actually a little bit surprised he's not more than just flat level 2, with Lion moving instantly. But there's another wave reaching the tower now. It's actually double range creep wave, and there's another one oh, never mind, they pulled that, so he's going to get pretty much level 3 here. Or actually, he will get level 3 if they don't deny anything, which looks like they won't. Oh, 5 XP.
5 short.
And
still low.
Limp putting on a bit of pressure here. But he's still far behind.
Yeah, he's got some catching up to do. Arise has done a very good job of landing a couple of stuns and just keeping him at bay. He does have a full bottle, though, with the invis, so I think with the use of Refraction and maybe getting level 5 kind of soon, he should be able to make his way back in. I'm just like, TA will pretty much always be able to farm to some degree, and even like taking jungle stacks isn't out of the question. A lot of TAs like to stack Ancients even nowadays, just be able to kill him with Sideblade, so he has plenty of methods for recovery in this game.
Middle tower is under attack.
I guess the big question is, what heroes are we looking at to really impact the game? I mean, Era is playing a safe lane queen, so do we expect him to still move a lot, like you would see like Limp playing queen, for example?
I think so. I think when you play Quap like this, you think of it a bit as how you play safe lane Clinks. So you dominate your lane, you farm your Orchid, and then you start missing from the map. You indirectly put pressure on all lanes by being missing, because all of a sudden you could show up, instead of with Skeleton Walk, you show up with Blink, and then you Orchid and just burst someone down. So it's a fairly similar concept that actually more or less deals with any of Unknown's heroes. They don't have anyone who's good at dealing with Orchid ganks, so unless if Slark has ridiculous reactions and actually sees the Quap coming, he won't even be able to arc back the Orchid. So that's what I'm expecting out of Era here anyway. Alternatively, they could move Limp. They'd be like, okay, we want to make sure we prioritize his farm, we send him to the safe lane, put Quap mid, but then that opens up for, of course,
top lane. Could be seeing the first blood here, Relax, very far out of position, gets dusted, Handskin on the Disruptor will be able to secure that kill for the team. They finally managed to get the Broodmother down once. He hit level 2 off of it, but giving away the first blood, probably not worth for one creep.
And with Jonas already being level 4, there's a very clear pattern with the off lanes, so NiP definitely getting the better of the side lanes, and now Limp is catching up as you said he would. He's only 6 CS behind, or actually 7 right now, but the relative difference is closing in. They're more or less both of the heroes mid are just farming their own creeps, and that makes the advantage of the Lina less and less of a factor. As a matter of fact, Limp is pretty far ahead on experience in this lane. I guess Arise has been sacrificing a little bit of experience for runes, and in addition to that, Lion, of course, took a bit of the experience in the start.
He took around 3 waves, right? I think like 2 or 3 waves he was there for. Maybe it was just 2.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that would explain the 300 experience. That's about right.
So Relax still playing super passive here in the top lane after dying the first time. I guess it's just a matter of when is the go point for either team, because I feel basically Unknown actually need more on their heroes to really feel confident in taking fights. The only real place I can see Arise going is bottom. Like, if he goes top, you don't have a setup for your stun.
Middle lane, Arise, he could be in trouble, or maybe not. Maybe it's Hanskin instead. It is definitely Hanskin instead. Easy turnaround here.
Yeah, he gets a Hex out. He's going to walk away, had Refraction up. So that was really nice. Maybe just a little bit of miscommunication, because it was very clear that Limp wanted to run. Like, he wasn't even like trying to go on that, but Disruptor just a little bit too aggressive, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine he wanted to try for the glimpse play and then try to kill, but it was a very unlikely kill and ultimately just put himself in a pretty bad position. And Unknown take advantage of it, good rotation in from the line as well to help out with that kill, and they're also going to secure the top rune by the looks of it. Limp is actually in a lot of trouble. Nice meld attack here onto Pure Evil, but he's still cut off by the Fissure. There is an Impale available, will land it, and he's just going to meld and be safe.
A little bit anticlimactic there. It's like, he might be able to get the kill, but no detection, unfortunately. So I guess it's just going to be down to, both teams are farming at about equal rate. Like the Slark and the Queen are about neck and neck. The Lina and the TA, pretty much the same. The real big difference between both the teams, as we mentioned earlier, is just the offlaners. It's the Jonasen fan's almost level 5 right now, whereas Relax, I mean, he's actually started to recover a bit as well. A couple of rotations coming out from NiP, allowing him to get some experience, and the wave has been near his tower for some time now. So he's not just like totally suffering, but...
Speaking of rotations, Hanskin.
They still have a dust on the Queen of Fan.
The question is if Eros is going to blindly try it. Oh, he ate a tree. He is totally dead.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Oh, the Spider-Man is actually doing quite a bit of damage to Era. He's going to be forced to blink back. That was actually very nicely played from Relax. Just putting the spiders on Era to scare him, because if he had aggressively blinked there, he might have just ended up killing himself too. Like, they probably kill the bird, but I don't think trading Era is worth it.
That would not have been worth it, especially not with Lion porting in to grab the experience. So, made the right call in the moment. Now, Lion's going to rotate again. He's gone into mid. Maybe looking to rotate bottom as well, where Nico has bought his Midas.
He always buys Midas on this hero, by the way.
It is really good on Slark, too.
I think at the very least, getting level 11 is great. Like, just getting the bonus regeneration, it almost doubles in value from level 1 to 2, so 3 to 5%. And plus, maxing out all your spells is fantastic on that hero. Even getting extra points into the Essence Shift, so your agility lasts longer.
And it's also just a hero that's pretty fragile, so you benefit a lot from getting the extra stats from just leveling up in general. He has an 1.8 strength gain, which isn't great, but it's also not awful.
Oh, Pure Evil here in the river. He's got the Thunderstrike on him. Not going to see Glimpse coming out from Hanskin, though. Limp was also in the area, but I guess he was too low on mana to feel comfortable taking that engagement.
And now we've got a level 6 on clock, and he actually has a mango, so if he wants to, he could eat this mango and go for a hookshot somewhere, and I think the highest priority kill you can find right now is probably the Lina. It's gonna bring Hanscon up to almost level 5 in the mid lane if they pull it off, unless if they still have Limp in there, but even in that case, just slowing down Arise is probably the most likely play they can get away with. Oh, speaking of which, I was going to miss the Light Strike array. Laguna Blade goes out. Will he hit this Dragon Slave? Yes, he will. Max range from Arise.
Towers under attack.
That damage.
Nicely played on the last 2 spells.
It reminds me of the old Dota video. Step 1, miss your stun. Step 2, Laguna Blade, get kill. Yeah. I mean, it works.
Oh, good old Crocodiner.
These heroes just do not have the sustainability to stand against that kind of spell damage. And Seal Kid is working his way towards level 6 too. We haven't really talked about the Rubik much, because this early game it's meh, it's pretty lackluster, but there is a ton of good stuff for him to steal in this game. Like just being able to get Dragon Slave or Laguna, an Impale, an Earthshaker stun, like there's just so many things. So I think the fact that NiP haven't really given away anything major in the laning phase by having the Rubik is still kind of a good thing for them. Because normally when you pick Rubik, you either pick it with like an AA or you pick it with the intention of not like crushing your lanes. And they've still done pretty well at handling the Brood up until now.
And he's going to have some nice spell steals in this game, which we haven't really talked about so much, but Fissure, of course, being a spell that's pretty easy to steal if you're in the right place at the right time and has massive impact as whole era. Oh, they still managed to get the damage out before he got down the cliff, and nice hookshot from Jonathan, the double cogs.
That damage. Yeah, Era cleans it up.
And
very nice Sonic
They're
Wave.
going to get 3!
This is what we call the 3 for 0 special. Actually, nobody calls it that, but I do. So NiP off to a very nice, at least team fight start. It's the first real action we've seen the entire game, and it did not go well for basically Unknown. Arise, unfortunately, I think he TP'd mid. Maybe it was around the same time that they were taking that engagement in the top lane, but Arise could get potentially caught out here. Question is, does Jonas and Fan have enough to be able to fight? Oh, there's no hook shot. Yeah, there's no hookshot up on Jonas and Fan. Nico Baby's now on the river as well. With that Midas, Limp kind of up here on the high ground. Laguna to the face of Jonas and Fan. He just drops here. Shadow Dance pop by Nico Baby. They want to keep chasing this one out. Glimpse up in 5 seconds. Can they get the vision on the high ground to bring it back? It looks like they're not going to be able to get that kill. So even though they go 3 for 0 on the top lane, basically no one managed to get one back and killing the Clockwork.
And now Brood is going to start being a problem. You see Era is pretty low health under the tower. Brood is now farming jungle camps as well as the lane creeps, and ultimately Era will either have to ferry out a salve or he's going to have to go back to base, because he's not sustainable enough right now at this point. Soul Ring is available again now for Relax, could just throw out a Spiderling, and then Era's actually so low that he would die from a secondary nuke afterwards. Wait, was he flying out? Oh, he's sending out his bomb. Okay, so he's gonna be able to refill with that. And that's, of course, going to delay his forward kick quite a bit. I believe he did have this bottle earlier. He hasn't just bought it. He's been using it a couple of times, too, to stand in lanes.
Yeah, it's a good call, though, because really the middle player doesn't necessarily need the bottle cross so much if it's a TA. Yeah, and they've been okay at least controlling one of the runes, so it's not really a huge issue for them to play that way. But I'm still kind of waiting for the real aggression to kick off from either team. The only fight that we saw again was top. The rest of it had just been like solo pickoffs and things like that. At what point does it become detrimental for NiP to farm when Nico Baby has this Midas in his inventory? Because I'm looking like towards more of the mid-late game. You have a Disruptor, which is a nice tool to dealing with the Slark, but that's about it if your Orchid starts to not work for you anymore.
Bottom lane. They still have the glimpse, I believe. Nice hook shot, but they're going to pull him back. This might actually just counterplay their own engagement.
Oh my god, he's actually going to turn around and get a kill here. Arise coming in. Jonas Fan with the nice cogs pushes Arise back. Stun, get a miss onto Era. Even with the use of the Yules. Fissure coming in. Hanscon could be dropping here. There's the Dragon Slay. Still has Laguna off cooldown. Needs to bottle off one charge to be able to have the mana to use it. Jonas Fan throws the Flare Limp. The rest of NiP nearby. They want to try to chase this down. There's a haste turn on this TA. Pure Evil. He got 1 second on the Fissure. Gets bottled up by his teammate. He does get the Fissure off before he dies, but he will drop. In the meantime, Seal can also go down. Cogs of Jonas Fan pops the battery assault as well. He wants to go for Arise here. The Sonic Wave doing supplemental damage, but it's just not enough. It's a triple kill for Arise. He does end up finally going down to Limp. And now Nico Baby on the run. He's got Pounce available. And of course, Starman in the back here throwing out a stun. Not going to make contact, but a very messy fight for both teams. And I suppose it was about even-ish. Like maybe it's slightly favoring NiP.
I'm actually surprised they got more gold out of that than the Radiant did. 2 for 2 kills, and
I think it was because they killed Arise. He had a 6 streak.
Oh, he had a 6 streak. Yeah, he gave 800 gold away. Yeah, as you said, pretty messy. But worth noticing is that Brood was not there. So He's getting the job done in the top lane. The tier 1 tower has fallen. He's farming way once more in the jungle. And this is what I was talking about. Even though he had a really hard laning stage, if you leave Brood alone for just a little bit, he comes back very easily. And you can see on the net worth right now, he's actually 5th. He has twice the net worth of the Clockwork, who is easily overtaking him in lane in terms of experience, at least. So, yeah. I'm nervous for Jonas in this game, because Clockwork, in one way, he does really well without farm, but he's... like,
Dire's middle
how to explain this? So with absolutely no farm, I think he's really weak. With like 1 or 2 core items, he can be great for a good 30-40 minutes. But he needs to get them, else he's literally just a hookshot into dying. So at least getting a Blade Mail to counter out the Lina and the Lion would be great, or even a Force Staff so he can hookshot and then reset and re-go. But he definitely needs something, and right now he is dirt poor.
I think he is kind of gravitating towards that point where he might become not a liability, but not as strong as he wants to be. Glimpse in middle lane onto a rise into that Static Storm. We'll be dropping here. One more kill going the way of NiP. Very nice pick off for them. But I'm kind of in agreement with you as the Clockwork is because normally you pick Clockwork either to counter supports or cores, and I think in this case, basically Unknown have one of the best melee cores against Clockwork in general, which is the Slark. And Nico Baby has been left alone for a very long time now. It's 14 minutes in, he's got Midas, he's got a completed Shadow Blade, and he's level 11. So he is just farming even more than Era is right now.
And the unfortunate thing for NiP, timing-wise, is this is the time when Era actually wants to game. Well, he does have Dust. But even if he blinks him and dusts and Orchids, the movement speed from Shadow Blade might actually be able to take Nico Baby out of trouble, even after being Orchided. So,
oh man, this scouting.
This is the best possible timing he could have hoped for. He might be able
to kill Seal Kid or Handscan. Oh god, the Shadow Blade into the pounce! It doesn't matter though, they're still going to stop him from taking the Roche. Nico Baby pops a Shadow Dance, he wants to get this kill. The T8 trap slow proving to be a little bit too much for Nico Baby. Shamana throws out one stun, Air in the meantime gets a kill onto a Rise. Hook shot from Jonas and Fan will kill Nico Baby, and that teleport is going to be cancelled by the Battery Assault, so it's a 3-for-1 trade favoring NiP. Looked like for a second he might have that Roshan fight turn into a disaster, but...
Was his Shadow Blade running out?
Yeah, I think
he had to make the call there.
Because he Shadow Bladed, I think, on the high ground on the other side of the river.
Yeah, because if he could have waited another 3 seconds, I think that would have been a lot smoother for him. He would have got the kill himself onto the Disruptor instead of Roche getting it. And maybe he could have found a secondary, or at least avoided this end outcome for NiP, which is definitely what they were looking for. Ultimately, they got more than what they came for. They got the Roche and a favorable trade.
And most of the time, hunting down a point for their team would still be kind of difficult, unless for some reason you manage to find him out and glimpse him into a Static Storm. But you can see he got a tiny bit impatient. Maybe he just thought that his team was going to be closer, and that trap actually ends up making it and a little bit of body blocking, so he couldn't get the last hit onto Seal Kid and just ends up getting baited in a little bit too far and goes down. But that also means that Limp will be able to make his way towards either a Deso or BKB. I'm guessing because he purchased a Mithril Hammer first. I'm leaning more towards Deso. That's just like a tendency to what I think. But I guess a TA doesn't necessarily need the Ogre Club all the time if you have Refraction for defensive purposes.
It's just a really good BKB game.
Yeah.
He goes from just being really heavily controlled in teamfights to just being able to do whatever he wants. That's how much it changes it. They have no BKB piercing stuns or slows or anything. They have a hell of a lot that doesn't pierce, so... Well, it's worth considering. I think he did buy a secondary hammer. Yes, he did. So he will go Deso first. He does have the Aegis right now, which changes things a bit, because then he can, of course, use that in the next few minutes to get a free life, which is generally better than BKB charge. We'll see. As Arise is actually going for... Do you think this is Glimmer or Shadow Blade?
Has to be Shadow Blade, right?
Yeah, it's not really that good of a Glimmer Cape game.
I think Shadow Blade is much better for the sort of semi-carry lane, and you can go for a Silver Edge later on. It's actually very disruptive to TA, because you run a Side Blades, which means you essentially have to be in melee range to attack at that point. So, I mean, it's not going to be something he picks up immediately, but you can transition into that. Plus, I think Shadow Blade is much better for finding your solo picks if it ever gets to a point in the game where both teams start split pushing it more. But Glimmer Cape also has its benefit. I mean, if your Slark gets like glimpsed in and you want to glimmer him so he doesn't get Static Storm killed, like there's also benefit to that. And the supports on the side of basically known, they're not rich by any means. They're also pretty poor.
The Shaker is having a pretty hard game so far. 800 net worth minute team.
Yeah, you know, he's had better games, but I also think that Shaker is one of those heroes where you get like 1 or 2 good engagements, you just get a Blink Dagger out of that later on.
Especially with the change that you get rewarded more for being the lowest net worth hero in the fight and lose less for dying.
It's the comeback player.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to
Radiant's
call.
middle tower is under attack.
Oh, they went 2 Midases on the Radiant. So Brood has 1 and Slark has 1. They're not falling very far behind. So whenever you see on the graph there's a clear tendency, the Roshan, if Dire after that, every minute Unknowner is farming them with a Midas and the general increased farm they have from farming the enemy jungle with Brood. I'm just wondering when the Radiant lineup actually is stronger than the Dire in an organized team fight. Like even if they have a higher net worth on the Radiant, I'm not sure it translates into a one fight because Brood is really deceptive when it comes to obviously 4,000 of their net worth is invested into Midas that provide really minimal benefit in actual fights.
Well, you might as well just subtract your network from the team if that's the way you want to think of it, because Relax is not really going to be showing his face. And so,
well, they're gonna need to respond to this. They pretty much just lost 2 towers for nothing in mid. TA putting a lot of pressure. I'm hearing a hook shot.
yeah, they're going to find out Relax here. Dust is popped underneath the tower, but he's going to get fingered straight away. Going to have a pause out.
Mega lag.
Maybe biting off a little bit more than he could chew right there. It looks like everyone inside of the game is lagging, so hopefully we can sort that issue out. But
it looked weird. It was like when he hookshot the Brood and caught all those units in the cogs. It was like the game. It looked more like in. Oh, that was really weird.
yeah,
It looked more like a game issue than a server issue. So.
Yeah.
Like the timing of that. It could just be, just random.
Well, hopefully everything's okay. I think this game is still. Is there ever a point where the Slark becomes so strong that even Brood falling off doesn't matter? So we'll have to hold that thought just for a little second longer. Handskin is getting hit here by that Brood. Relax, continuing to chase him down. Era trying to finish him off. He had ulti available. I'm not sure why he opted not to use it to save this disruptor. But we're going to see a teleport out here from the Earthshaker as well. So it ends up being a 2-1 trade. Relax forces a fairly large engagement. Still ends up getting a bit out of it. And I don't know if that was worth, really.
NiP still got 2 towers mid, and they protected their top tier 2 by porting in. Now,
well, I just mean the fact that
tier 2 is also under.
Era just had his ulti, and you're just like, nah, I'm gonna let you die.
Yeah, that was a little weird. That's one of those situations where you'd rather be safe than sorry.
I guess it is a pretty long cooldown since he doesn't have agonies. The question is your disruptor worth 135 seconds of your life? That's really what it comes down to in the pinch, and Era was just like, nah.
How valuable is your friendship relative to your cooldown?
Yeah.
There's the Shadow Blade though, picked up for a rise, so starting to make progress. I feel like Unknown are actually in a pretty good position in this game. They have so much roaming potential now and just the ability to find skirmish. And NiP can't really be safe on the map anymore, pretty much in any lane. There's always the threat that they get jumped, Slark, play, and none of the heroes survive it. They will all die. Even the TA with a reflection charge on could just get jumped by Slark and blown up by Lina afterwards. So.
Yeah, that's very true.
How many damage instances does it deal again?
Dark.
Yeah, is it 10? 5?
I think it's 10. I think it immediately removes it.
1.5 seconds after cast, a series of 10 pulses. Yeah. So it removes reflection entirely.
Yeah. Oh, Luna Blade here onto Era. Immediately pops the BKB, forced to blink out. Shadow Blade almost getting that kill. Relax, currently chasing him down. He goes for the courier kill, still gets it. Was it a technical bait? No, it wasn't. Era gets away anyway. Bottom lane, or excuse me, top lane. Looks like there's another kill going the way of NiP as they manage to cure Pure Evil. Is throwing the stun. Lands not. They're going to be able to get one turn kill, but good God, limit that damage. Turns around with the Melt Strike and just kills Arise in a matter of seconds. Seems like we don't have real team fights, but we do have a lot of skirmishing going on in this game.
It's what both teams are really good at with their picks. They're definitely looking to skirmish.
The random dust. They have any way of getting vision in these trees. He drops a trap. It's the wrong way. Hook shot. It's off the mark. Relax. Trying to make his way out. He does get hit by the flare. He lost his unit patting. In the meantime, Eric gets a kill on the Vico Baby, but they're inside the tree line now. Trying to hit that Brood. It will take him down. And that is pretty much almost everyone that is basically known in the course of the 2 minutes.
The biggest kill out of all of them there was the one we didn't see.
Yeah, the Slark, of course.
Slark getting solo killed by the Quab is going to put Aaron in a really good position in this game. He gets a lot of net worth. Slark obviously loses. It was a 600 gold kill.
Was there a BKB recipe on that courier for Nico Baby? Because I could have sworn he was closer to it. No, there wasn't. Okay. I wanted to be sure because I thought for a second maybe he only died because he couldn't finish his BKB.
Oh, I see.
But I didn't actually see what was on the courier when it died. So.
Yeah, judging from his net worth, I think he's still missing the recipe.
Yeah.
Seems like.
But the one thing about that death for Nico Baby is it does set him back quite a bit. His Midas was off cooldown when he died. you just have to keep in mind that.
Same for Brood. Oh, that's
yeah, it's extremely painful. But once their BKBs come out, really the side of NiP, only one or two of their heroes is really going to be that threatening at that point. It's going to be Limp, who still does a pretty substantial amount of DPS with his own freshly purchased BKB, and then Era, who can still ulti, of course, and still like right clicks fairly hard, given the circumstances. So I'm thinking that the power spike for basically Unknown that comes out with those BKBs could be enough to kind of push them back.
I would agree with that. And if they find any sort of decent team fight, they will get the Shaker Blink.
Top tower has been
and that's kind of the really big key item that Unknown is very far away from having that could really change the game around. With BKB on TA as well as Quap, and on the Radiant, the Slark very close to his. We don't have anyone else getting ripped. Oh well, Bruce somewhat.
And Seal Kid going the way of old Yeller there. Nico Baby does not look like he's done just yet. They're going to pop the drums. Hook shot going to be thrown out here as well in bottom lane. Era is going to help secure. On to relax. Yules now. On
really low. He is going to live though.
Yeah, Limp not going to be so lucky, I don't think. And there is no Aegis on him this time. Couldn't even pop the BKB. Just gets stun locked to death. He did get Yules though, so I'm a bit surprised that either the stun timing was perfect or he just didn't BKB.
He might have.
Radiant's bottom
was that
tower
like
is
close to
under
the Aegis?
attack.
No, absolutely not. So he would not have
Radiant
thought he had the
structures
Aegis.
are fortified.
Because you should
Oh, yeah,
always
so
be able to
funny.
BKB that, right? Like, even if you land the stun perfectly, I think you still can BKB.
Yes, he might have. Did he get? I think he got fissured into the stun or the combo.
Maybe. Maybe that's what happened.
I'm not sure.
But either way, really big kills going the way of basically Unknown, and that puts them a lot closer to getting the BKB, at least on Nico Baby. The Broodmother did die during that engagement, but
Yeah, the Soul Kazan, he's basically going to have it now. He needs one CS to grab that Lion with the Blink, as well as Tranquilizing in level 11 as well. And he's one of the best tools to a BKB TA. You come out of nowhere, you get the surprise jump, especially if she doesn't have Refraction on. It's a very fragile hero.
oh, look at the glimpse. Pure Evil, he's going to get caught out. That Vision going to be there. And Era, he's actually going to be the one who gets bursted down first. That Queen of Pain not going to be able to live through that kind of damage. Level 2 Laguna Blade helps secure the kill, and that was use, of course, of the Shadow Blade coming out from Arise.
He's getting really rich too. As Brood is, or actually, never mind. It's just going to be on the initiating side together with Lion, Nico, and Jones. And all of a sudden, the map for NiP kind of falling apart. They're probably going to lose this mid-tier 1 if they're not careful now, as it's 5 versus 3 situation.
And that Fissure, a little bit questionable coming out, actually, from Pure Evil. I'm fairly certain if he had just let Arise get closer, he would have landed that stun. But I think the Fissure actually blocked his pathing. Could be wrong, though.
It's a little bit unfortunate. They still got a good fight out of it.
Yeah.
Either way, they get 2 kills. They get both runes. They put pressure on the mid tower. It doesn't look like. Oh, actually, maybe they will be able to do it here. As NiP are not in the area.
Yeah, they're not even ready to do this. It was like, whatever, just take the tier 1. It's no big deal. It's kind of worse, though, I think, losing your tier 1 at this point when Roshan is still alive. I think you want the tower if you want to try to contest Rosh. No, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. They didn't have buyback or anything like that on Era. I think the advantage that NiP has at this point is their ability to like get into the pit and kill Roshan but for free, as long as basically don't realize it. So Limp is the only one who needs to be there to kill it. And having that Aegis not only takes it away from basically Unknown, but it allows them to get a couple more really strong teamfights in before that Slark could become a little bit too much to handle.
There's going to be one item trying to deal with said Slark, as well as Lena. The gem will be purchased by TA. I'm not sure if she's going to carry it herself, or if they're going to put it on Era's quad, or even on one of the supports, but definitely the way to go for NiP right now. Get a gem that you can benefit from in the fights, try to remove all the map control. It's also great for catching out Brood. In general, this game is really, really good for the Dire side, so definitely agree with this. Maybe they should have even bought it earlier, to be honest. They were looking even better than they are right now.
My question is, how heavily do basically contest this Roshan if they see it happening? Like, do they need to stop it, or is it something that they'd be okay with and just say, okay, we'll try to turtle it up a bit? I mean, they still got a safe lane tier 1 at 26 minutes in.
They're probably okay with it if they get any sort of reasonable trade. Like, if they get the tier 2 top, I think it's all right. It's a very dangerous fight for them to take. They have no vision, they don't have webs in position for the Brute to try to engage into the... He does have 2 in stock, however, so they might have actually been able to try for it, but... They might have just realized too late and been like, okay, if we even try to move there, we're getting absolutely nothing out of it because we'll get too late anyway. So instead, this tier 2 looks like it will be claimed. Glyph is available for Dire. They will probably not be
Dire's
expending it on this.
top tower has
Rise will
fallen.
be, that's his Ags all of a sudden. And he gets another big item going her way. I don't know. I don't really feel like NiP are leading this game. Like we were talking about. Oh, wait a second. Lion is going to get jumped. Can solo here. I don't think he can get this kill on his own. Maybe with the glimpse, it's not enough.
Yeah, no more damage to put. He doesn't have mana to finger though. He can just blink away if he wants. Yeah, there we go.
So I was talking about earlier how I felt like, well, if you look at unknown draft, even if they're ahead by a few thousand gold, I'm not sure how strong the team fight potentially is. But when you're starting to see what items this gold is being invested into, I feel like they're leading the game right now. NiP are not really putting too much pressure on this era, taking a lot of damage, will be forced to blink away. And now it's a matter of whether the Radiant get a gem too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They can get enough control for their own. They will be looking really good.
It's just such a weird game because the thing that basically Unknown are waiting on outside of Rise continually getting farm is just Slark becoming like getting a Scotty or another item on top of what he has now just to make himself tanky enough to be able to withstand a lot of punishment in fights. Because once he gets to that point, I feel like NiP are very bad at dealing with him. Unless, for instance, Hanskin gets himself to an Aghanims, which, let's be honest, he's miles away. Like, he doesn't even have a point booster. So with that in mind, I think that there will be too long of a period when the Slark gets very strong, and when NiP can actually deal with him, that when that happens, basically that huge lead. And it's going to be so hard to squander that.
And if they don't do anything, they are getting out. Like they can try to optimize their farming patterns a little bit, and they can definitely get more than what they are right now. But unless they take the entirety of Radiant's map control away with the gem, and the Radiant can feel safe moving out, then they will just be getting more out of the map. Lean is great at split pushing very quick at farming, can also transition into neutral camps, the same story. So look at the same story. So when you've got 3 cores that are able to do that, you tend to do really well. Now NiP will get a tier 1, and then they're probably going to head to the top to defend this tower.
Dire's top
They need to find a kill here if they can.
They're going very aggressive into a team with an Aegis fighter.
Yes, they did not pull the disruption timing, so will not be able to catch the glimpse here. Nico Baby will be fine.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate.
They at least got it to 1.
I guess in a way, basically no pushing that reaction means that the Aegis is going to be like a fire, like spending time not doing anything big. Which is kind of what you want if you're on their side. As long as Aegis doesn't result in like a really bad team fight going your way, you're probably happy with them TPing back and them wasting their own time and trying to defend their base. You don't really have the intention of fighting anyway.
We have 2 minutes on it. I don't really... Yeah, I think you're right. It seems pretty unlikely for them to be able to push out far enough. You know who we haven't talked about for a while? The Earthshaker. He just managed to get his now sub 30 after an abysmal net worth at minute 18. He still manages to grab it now. Just the game slowing down, he getting some time. Tower gold flowing his way as well. And a little bit of the assist gold when they were behind it, of course, helps him out a great deal. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking, longer this goes on, I guess in an ultra late game situation, both teams would probably have a fair chance of winning. Because basically they don't have their Slark, but they also have Brood, which is notorious for not being super useful after even like the set of racks is taken down, because the less racks that you have, maybe you get the second one up of that thought. Nico Baby getting caught out here on a high ground by NiP, a very nice pickup.
That's really efficiency as well. Literally just picked up that hacks, immediately puts a fuse, getting a kill, and you're gonna find a secondary on a rise. That's really big. The 2 biggest kills they could find in quick succession, maybe transitioning this into a tower push bottom, or at the very least getting the Wards of Seal Kit out and getting some more map.
Well, I guess all theory doesn't help you from people getting caught out.
2 shy.
That damage.
Full strike and 1 attack. Very easy kill on the Lion.
Now, what is his next item? He bought something, correct? Oh, he bought Blink. Yeah, okay. He already had it on. I thought he might be going just for Davis, but having the ability to Blink with BKB helps you close the gap for those support heroes, Shaker and Lion, and they can't do anything. If you BKB and Blink on them, they are dead. Like 100% of the time.
Yeah, they're gonna Ghost after Glimmer to deal with it. Lion looked like he's working on a little bit of everything. He was maybe thinking about a Force Staff, and then he went back for a Cloak. And well, suddenly NiP with Aegis still in the inventory starts seeking the base. They will retreat after forcing out the Glyph.
That is enough. Even looking at the lanes right now, 2 of them are pushed in to basically end the doorstep, and bottom is barely being pushed toward the side of the map. So I think they'll be pretty happy with the exchange they made in the last few minutes. Just finding those free kills, getting that huge momentum swing. You could just wait for the 3rd gen if you really want to. Go for the cheese, get another Aegis up on your TA, perhaps give the cheese to Era, who is still getting pretty good amount of farm. Still highest net worth in the game, by the way, followed by Limp. So NiP, even under these circumstances, the Slark and Rise on the lead were doing quite a bit of work. They still managed to maintain their farm.
And the question is if the next Roche is just going to be free for NiP or not. I have a feeling that Unknown will not let it happen, that they actually want to fight for it. Still really like to see them grab a gem so they can feel more safe on the map. NiP have way superior vision right now with their wards. Only one Radiant ward existing right now above the Roche pit, but NiP 3 on the map inside the enemy jungle and in 2 lanes. So they get way more information than Unknown do right now. And they might still be able to find something here. This is super dead Rubik for starters.
Yeah,
or maybe not. They're not finishing him off. Finally they do. When it comes to the price here, Lion is also Shaker already down, and now a Rise too. They jumped on 2 targets at the same time. A little bit greedy with that thing.
Yeah, that was not the kill.
It's going to cost them maybe 4. No. BKB popped by Relax.
So, I understand throwing out the Yule onto Limp, but I guess that's just the effect of not getting hacks against hero as BKB, as your stun Yule's combination just becomes useless after a while. So you're going to need another item in progression, like you're going to need Era's build-up, which is that Hex on top to ensure that you can just kill Limp to make sure that it isn't pop BKB, because at this point, the BKB usefulness on that hero is insane. Like it just deletes everyone on the side of basically Unknown. Even the Slark can't deal with the reflection with the BKB up. Like he needs to be able to hit you Dark Path to remove it, so Lim is kind of keeping his team alive here along with Era.
Yeah, they just need to blink Hex from Lion to go on the TA. That is the way they deal with the BKB. There's pretty much no other play. Arguably Blink Echo Sim can set up as well, but it's way more situational. But yeah, it's been doing a lot of work. Now it's been used quite a bit. Now it's down to 8 seconds. Eris is actually dying. Wow, you've done less than I thought. Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
I think he maybe missed one of the times because he ended up dying in the woods, like in the Dire jungle when he got caught out. I think he meant to use it there, but just didn't. So maybe it could have been like 1 or 2 air charges down. But very conservative about their BKB usage on the side of NiP, and it seems to be working out pretty well. The Slark, the Brood, and the Lina, though, is still very closely trailing in the terms of overall net worth. And that DD, that's a rune. That is a TA rune right there.
That's an extra 126 damage. He can... I think he can one-shot Lion with Alt Strike, actually, right?
Yeah, he definitely can.
Is that? We're going to get another pause from Arise. Lag Bratans. Servers are bad? Okay.
What are we playing on, by the way, server-wise? I wonder if we're just playing on, like...
I would assume we're in Stockholm, right?
Yeah. But sometimes the routing is weird. Like, sometimes I've had servers on Lux give me lower ping than Stockholm. It's very bizarre. But either way, it's still... I think it's still anyone's game, actually. Like, I was favoring basically Unknown in the late game, because I thought that Slark would become a huge issue, but I guess you can never underestimate how much burst damage a Templar Assassin can do. And the thing about TA is her damage is always physical. So you're going to be hitting hard no matter what stage in the game is. BKBs have no deterrent on you whatsoever. So you'll always be effective more or less. The game is going to go ahead and resume here.
Yeah, it really does seem like one of those games where the success of each team fight effectively comes down to how well can NiP, like the hook shot is really crucial. They got a good one last fight from Jonas. Can Clock get a good jump together with this Disruptor Static Storm, or on the other side will Lion be able to blink Hex a keep to get an Echo Slam off? As Brood will BKB TP out in this game. NiP are really, they're playing aggressively up on the map. They're taking advantage. His hook shot is going to whiff. Just looking for the Lion. Who he... Oh, that's not going to see him. Might have seen the Shaker. It's going to blink TP out. And ultimately, even though people anything here... Oh, do they?
I was very close, but
wow.
The Lion just barely missed. I don't think the TA trap has vision of stuff in either. I think he's got TP safety.
Yeah, they sit there. That rocket just catching it. So even though they don't find a kill, they force three defensive TPs. They push out the bottom lane easily. However, Rise as well as Nico very quickly pick up on this and push out the other 2 lanes. NiP not really gonna get too much from that.
I guess it just boils down to one of those games where the team who fights is just going to win. Like, I really think just at that point, and the double damage is definitely helping in that regard in terms of taking Roshan down. This will be cheese and ages, so maybe a slight fade for NiP because they are dire. The TA has been able to secure pretty much every single Roshan this far, which maybe if basically I know we're contesting what so much, but Hook not going to kind of feel inside of Blue is going to be a bonus kill in addition to securing Roshan for the side of NiP, Air will go ahead and pick that up.
They might even get more. You can glimpse this line with the rocket.
Oh yeah, he did. And there is just not much they can do about that.
This could be high ground, although, well, once again, Nico doing super split push is really important. If he's not in the dire base right now, losing the tier 2 bottom and maybe even tier 3, hopefully get no buyback. Even if it's only 30 seconds, this dire lineup pushes really, but they just have to take Jonas back. I don't think it's going to be enough to scare Nico away as he sees the other hero's bottom. Now with a secondary TP from Rubik, he is going to pounce. Glimpse will not reach him before he uses Shadow Blade.
I gotta say, I've been very impressed with the way NiP have played this game. It seemed like at some points, basically unknown, they weren't necessarily outmaneuvering, but they felt like they really were in a good position. Oh, Yosin gonna eat her, doing it to the face, yeah. Should be able to find at least one fill from this though. BKB and Jetman are both up from Nico, but he might not get a chest pop either of them, and he does not. His Era gets himself on a mega kill streak, and as he teleport out from Arise, Light Strike Array stolen here by Steel Kid, used to scout out.
It was crucial for the kill, by the way. I think they killed the Slark there without the stolen Light Strike Array from Steel Kid. Very nicely done. Changed the stuns perfectly and prevents the BKB mark backdoor. BKB shouldn't rather from coming.
Just seems like whenever we say something, it just goes the other way.
And I'm not going to push the bait right now.
I think that who has the cheese, by the way? Okay. Era has the cheese.
They just cheese still.
Yeah, T has 6,200 gold. I mean, is this just buy a full Daedalus, or is this buy a butterfly or something else? I think Daedalus is probably the best item for killing the slug, for sure.
Consider, yeah, I guess Daedalus is a really solid choice. I was wondering if you wanted to get an MKB to prepare for a potential butterfly from Slark, but it doesn't look like that's anywhere close regardless. So.
Yeah, he just put a scouting and he died afterwards, so he pretty much has no money. Can't even buy back, actually.
I actually think Unknown will lose a Rax here. Play a really good fight. In a good position to just take this tower. They're maybe not. If they know there's no buyback on Slark here, they try to force this a bit more. But they're not
I think
sure.
they try to force it anyway, though, with the Aegis, right?
Yeah, they're just that if they commit to the tower, then buyback comes together with an initiation from Unknown, and they end up not only losing their Aegis, but maybe 2 or 3 heroes, making the buyback well worth it. It's going to be a butterfly, though, for Limp. Nice in one piece.
Butterfly is actually, I'd say, almost better for pushing high ground. Just because it allows you to dodge a couple of tower shots to get the bonus attack speed, and crits out don't work on towers, so... Yeah, I like the butterfly choice too. And there's another double. Good God.
I think it might deal more damage. It deals more damage to towers than Daedalus does. It gives 60 damage and 35 attack speed. So, better. For sure. That is some of the least efficiency I've ever seen out of an archer. Heals in for good, like, safety.
That's how I went with tangos. I missed like 40 health and I'm like, I have to tango. I had like missing health. Needed to back.
That's nice. Relax. He's gonna TP. Rocket. Is there a glimpse?
Nope. Quite.
Very close to being able to get that.
He would have had buyback if he went down, but still forcing it would have been really good for NiP.
Anyway, building a big key item. The Kira on the Radiant side is very important. When you enter late game, armor and physical damage become increasingly more important, and the armor aura in Kira's as well as Land are very, very valuable to get.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup right now of basically Unknown, and I'm asking myself, who can actually think here now? Because that's the hero where you really have to think about, okay, if we don't kill him straight away, he's going to kill all of us, pretty much. And that's not even counting Arrow, who almost has an entire refresher, actually has the money for it right now. Double Hex, double ult, double BKB, double Orchid, but he just wants to save for buyback, and he even has spots on top of that.
Double boost travel, double cheese.
Yeah.
Just needs another one.
I mean, what you do for stout points in the middle of all skills Hex.
Oh, they fertilize again.
This is bad. This is really bad. He has to be, but Funlock is too much on the side of NiP. Arrow finding himself yet another kill. He's only died once this game, by the way.
This is just the result of NiP having superior map control. Like, ever since they bought that gem, I feel like they've been winning more of the game every minute. Like, that's just the big turning point. It's an Unknown less control of the map. He's Rise here, he's starting to get desperate for some sort of intel, so he starts moving out and up, and even as the can get spotted by a gem, or as gets caught up as he's gonna get jumped on. Nice counter initiation help him from Stoken.
Yeah, meet the big pop by Nico, baby. Yeah, not enough. seeing a little bit like here where they do get a handful of kills. Basically, no anyone in the last little while. I think they killed one person, right?
I mean, if you bring up the gold graph, you can see the events, and there's an event. What's that? 3 minutes ago, they found 1 kill in Jonas, and then like 8 minutes ago or 7, they found 1 kill in Seal. That's
just
all. Apart from the 10 kills for NiP and Roche.
You kind of mentioned it, just after pick, and eventually basically they're just getting whittled down by the fact that they really don't ever have map control anywhere. So I'm wondering at this point, is the last play to just try to like YOLO smoke for Roshan? When I mean not even including this one, like the next Roshan, like fourth Roshan, because otherwise you never really get your high ground together, much less push across the map at all. Snipper's always there.
I think a smoke would make a lot of sense if they managed to put out the wave source, because they have no other means of initiating.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. They're going to rush some sort of vision, or even if they shadow blade, as we've seen a couple of times before, they just get jumped by arrow with their gem. So it's probably the way to go. I believe they have smokes available. They have one in stock, and actually that's the only one. So they need to make a big play with that.
Well, Boots of Trouble being purchased by the side of NiP and Refresher coming out of arrow. This is reaching a very scary stage in the game, if you don't know.
So he killed Shaker and Lion on his own with just 2 ults, I think.
Yeah.
He needs a little bit extra to kill the Shaker. I believe, yeah, he needs a little bit extra. But Lion dies to 2 ults, Shaker loses 85%. So anything in between that, and then the other heroes half. If Arrow has everything on a couple of heroes, you can't win the fight. It's impossible.
I think the Brood is kind of becoming more of a hindrance than anything else to basically unknown. Like, even though it's not like he's played bad, it's just the inherent limitations of the hero. He's been forced back to base so many times that Relax hasn't really been able to pressure a lane in a very long time. He's no longer forcing NiP to come to him. He's just like sitting there on his warrior, he's going to nail the time. And that hero, I didn't think he would become as big a hack as it really is for the team. Like, he can't really contribute in any meaningful way. Like, he's just farming the lanes. What can
he want a hook from Jonas? He's gonna stop Nico Baby here. He doesn't have a TP available. Might just try to count and use it, but
he needs to try to use it.
Hiding here for now. They found N as well. Hex from Arrow will not be there. Oh, they actually got it.
Sorry. Wait. Okay, never mind. I thought I saw another auto attack going.
Oh, from the T?
Yeah, from the T.
Yeah, that might have actually been enough if you got another one.
Because I thought I saw the projected turn in air,
but it's one of those situations again where NiP usually don't find the kills, but they pressure them. They force 2 heroes to the base, they push out lanes, they just gain more and more. They are the team gaining gold every minute, even though they're playing up against double Midas. They're still, that goes to show how much they're actually controlling it. Naps do something else. There's a hook shot up top, Stallone, very, very dead.
Yeah.
Easy pick. And he can do this all the time because of the active and the clockwork. He's shot ready once again and could try to make a play. They're going to find this ward right now. It's actually doing a bit of work for the Radiant. Clock is going to move. He'll realize it's there. He shot the other one.
Middle tower is under attack.
I mean, I think the biggest problem right now, outside of being able to go anywhere, the Slark is being like viciously hunted. Like, he's being clipped here. He actually wastes his TP. They might be able to get close enough to him to deal some damage. He's getting flanked from the other side. Yeah, BKB pops here. Got a couple of seconds left to make it out. He does have Shadow Head. High ground. Might be enough. Era, he overlaps it very well, but not going to get Hex just yet. Nice hook shot at Cogs though from Jonas. And Nico Baby, they are just relentless on NiP. They won't let him get away. Managed to find one to get. There is buyback and move on the Slark.
That's actually a really nice attempt at the getaway. He almost made it river in. I still, he probably doesn't get away. They can just keep running it down.
Mobility shots, like quick shot on a 12-second cooldown, Queen Blink, his glimpse. Like, how do you actually run away from that?
He used everything he had, so he had no escape plane even after getting into the river. It's like, we're not trying to force the buyback. Nice fissure. I'm sure Evil's going to do it. Actually, TA is in range to the tower. What the hell? That does not look like she's in range to me, but she's barely has enough range there to bring tower. No pages anymore, though. Roshan actually available for the
from Nico maybe as well. I think it's almost impossible for him to actually buy back here though, unless it's guaranteed initiation anymore. Because if he buys back,
Radiant structures are
they're going to lose the Rex anyway. They're either forced to fight her on Roshan, which is bad, or they could just lose the game straight up.
Radiant's middle
Times
tower
one more
has
time,
fallen.
like football. Fortunate that they didn't actually have to waste the buyback. They lose at tier 3 though, which is the point of keeping. You want to keep tier 3 alive as long as humanly possible. Like, when it gets to the point where all your tier towers down, if you start losing tier 3s, that opens up even the possibility of getting ratted, and that is a problem too.
NiP's here are actually fairly decent with pushing.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it was the way they, I believe the first game of the Swedish finals here, they played against a team, which by the way, Circle on it, good to see Circle back.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a really close game, but Arrow managed to split push with a PL, so they're definitely afraid of the reps needed. It's not going to combine very well, and actually it's going to complete counterplay Arise, getting blown up. He gets the Goo Blade off of this fraction, doing 0 damage. Limp away, actually, they pound with through. Do they even lock down? No, they wait, maybe they threw.
Baby, so yeah, excellent pressure out by Era. BKB is out. Alex getting on health here. Chase him down. They will, in the meantime, and Showman and Relax going to be the next one to fall. He's trying to lifesteal throw, but Jonas with a hook shot in the face says no to that. Limp back into the game. Get him away towards the Russian. That is a team going way of NiP. I gotta say, the start of that looked the first time this entire game without someone was going to be able to just chase down the TA, which I think is what we were expecting to happen for a long time, and it just didn't matter. Golden managed from just bought back and like, yep, whatever. Just gave it.
Yeah, they're gonna get another Aegis and Cheese going their way. Clock juice, and one of them just to heal up. And coming by goes to show that NiP's plan here is to go immediately after the Roche. They're gonna take it and then they're going to go bottom else. Doesn't really make sense for Clockwork to use the cheese like that instead of just going back to heal up. Imagine you're just feeling at the bottom as we gonna pick up the axe.
That item is so unbelievably good.
It is extremely good.
It's one of those things where, especially, you never want to have to prematurely BKB. That's the worst feeling in the world. You feel like, oh, if I don't BKB now, I'm just never going to be difficult. And that's the sense of playing against just essentially means that if you get caught, you're just dead to race. It's just duped, basically. You can't do anything.
Force from Stamont. They're going to get Limp basically for free, it looks like. Yeah. Very nice play. Now Seal can try to hold out. Oh, okay. Post lamp right there. Can Limp make anything BKB charge?
And he's going to try to get back in here. He's going to find Kareem. The Shikker's already down. He already his arsenal. Doesn't even have it left. Going to see Yules here onto Era. Nice static though, preventing the stun coming out. Era pops his own PB. He still has the cheese available. Baby, it's going to be a retreat. Looks like both teams don't want to try to pursue this any farther. And I got to say, basically unknown, not a bullet there. That forced that forward, making sure that the Aegis of the TA. That probably just saved their racks.
Yeah, that aggressive force staff play. I love seeing aggressive force staff plays like that. They used to be really popular to pull off, especially around the TI2 era with Ferrari playing Quaswex Invoker with Force Orchid. They won quite a few engages and fights just forcing enemies into the teams, but it's pretty rare nowadays to see the plays and just makes them that much more impressive when teams do pull them out like that.
Looks like the potential for rehost is near, just to make sure that teams don't have to do the lags game during fights, because it's going to be super frustrating. We see it a little bit on our end too, but I think it's worse for the players from that perspective. So hopefully nothing terrible happens because of that, but we host. And Limp, he did lose his Aegis. Just waiting to see what his next item's going to be. He's sitting on top of 5,300 gold, give or take. I mean, he can go back for the Daedalus now. I mean, it doesn't matter what he buys, but I think MKB or Daedalus are pretty much the two go-tos at this point.
You know what I was just thinking? An item you never see on TA that in a way makes sense if you have the right item build. What's Refresher? So no one buys that on TA, right? But in theory, it gives you two these, 2 extra Refresher, which is actually pretty good. And as a 6th item, you have another active inventory item that you can use. It could actually be an interesting idea. It's just, I think players, it took us how many years of playing Dota until we started buying Refresher on, carries actually, a PA6 slotted with refresh, Apple Blade, BKB, boost travel, that kind of stuff. It's funny to see that SS6 because he's starting to get but obviously you want Daedalus first. And TA is just one of those heroes where it seems like you want more slots than you have compared to other carries, so probably not. But
it kind of goes hand in hand with the Rising back when BKB used to be, you could revolve. Yeah. We're saying Refresher becomes like the best 6 slot for all carriers, so you can have 2 BKBs. And that was like new go-to. It's like, oh yeah, well you gotta buy Refresher now as a 6 item, so you can just have your 10-second BKB instead of just rebuying in the games. So
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised to see stuff like that coming out in the future if they do happen up. I think this is still really good against Stark. Jump, gonna be off the mark here. Blink forward, along the flip, they find a rise. Good night. 90 seconds in sidelines, no buyback. NiP full in the area, looking to try to make something else happen, or at the very least push in this lane. That was, he just died instantly.
He's out for A as well. I'm not sure if NiP have an idea that he does not have buyback, but it's pretty much a call to go high ground.
Well, even if he had it, he'd still go.
Yeah, they would probably still go. By the way, did you mention Lotus Orb Clockwork?
He just picked it up instead.
Yeah. They're going to counter the Lion nicely. It's a good way of removing it. They're actually going to put it onto Lion.
It actually worked!
Onto Lion!
Man dies. Oh, God. Alright.
Oh, that might not be a reflect. That might have actually been Eris. Oh, no. I'm not sure.
Radiant's middle barracks have fallen. Radiant's middle barracks have fallen.
The force staff from Jonas, in fact, because it looked like maybe the Lotus Orb came in after. Maybe you were like the staffed at identical times.
Oh, either way, give them the benefit of the doubt. Say it was a cool play.
It was a super cool play. I was there.
30 seconds. Pretty much no chance of defending this lane of Rex either. Question is if they're going to even have time to hold the bottom one. It's another 20 seconds for NiP. They make very quick work of the barracks with all the damage coming out from them. And they might just play it safe and pull back here as they get 2 Rex for free. Could buy an MKB or the Daedalus in just a second on the TA. Actually has the money for Daedalus in now. If he wants to go that path.
I think that is what he is buying. Right. Oh, MKB actually.
Go for the MKB. So True Strike against pretty much nothing for now.
It's a huge deal.
Buildings.
Yeah, at attack speed.
Yeah, the attack speed it's a little bit more flat down, right?
I think it's 81 versus 80.
Yeah. Almost. Just a little.
Hey man, if you're min-maxing your high grade push, 8 damage and 15 attack speed, or excuse me, 7 damage, 15 attack speed. That's the dream. And I swear to God, how many ADs has NiP gotten in this game? But single time it goes under double damage.
That's the benefit of having the whole map under your control. You tend to get, like, if the game's long enough, you'll get a lot of double damages by just, I guess, all, like, out of the last 30 minutes, basically Unknown have got
they haven't been to the river. Like, getting on their side of them has more or less been impossible just because they got, what, like 8 or 9 picks in a row? And then all of a sudden basically say, oh, well, now we just can't fight because we've given you too many items. And our Slurk never really get to that critical mass that we were hoping for, and it might be a little bit too late as we are now purple racks. And we're pulling up on the 53-minute mark. So
yeah, I have been corrected by Twitch, actually.
Oh, what happened?
He's getting MKB again in past 2, but it's a good point.
Yeah, but you can just BKB as well.
Yeah, but his BKB is dropping low, so after that, he would be blind. It's you know.
Yeah, it's true. No,
you're right, Twitch chat. You're always right. Good job.
Well played. That's why they're 9K MMR. To be honest, I just thought that Brood was such like a non-factor at this point that it didn't even matter. Like,
I mean, I feel like still if season he gets it, he's building the item for something that hasn't been a problem at all for the last 54 minutes. I don't seem to remember a single fight. Oh damn, I'm missing a lot on TA because Brood is hitting someone else.
Yeah.
And like
usually goes to supports.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's still a nice thing to have, just in case.
And yeah, and in case Lark builds a butterfly somewhere down the line, he has it prepared. So it's okay.
So I guess now we're looking at some Moonshark burgers coming out. Oh, they're making Hex on them and by. They're like streak. Both of Lip and Era just North gods right now. Full towards more or less.
And they immediately port the bottom, looking for another pick. This is a really great play because they just found a pick on the other side of the map and they're already here. Pure Evil will actually make it happen. Alright, it looked like it was gonna hit, but
it was close.
Yeah, I think it would have lived in. Incoming! Yeah, really close. 30 seconds on Lion. NiP have 1 cheese. No Aegis for another few minutes. It could just wait for Roche. It's theirs. There's no way no one can contest them anymore. They have to go for early defense to stay with. They need a good Echo Slam, which I feel like we haven't even seen a mediocre Echo Slam all game.
Yeah, but to be fair, he hasn't really had any times to do it because the fights are never really like big team fights. Usually a couple of heroes getting up here or there. The heroes that go down middle lane, I think that was one of the best opportunities that he's been given, even though it only hit like 1 hero, because no one else really ever gets in the position on the side of NiP. They don't really have to. All of their heroes are ranged except for the Clockwork, so they usually have a pretty easy concave when they're pushing in. That makes it hard to engage. You also have to assume that if there's steal or lift as well. So I think it's actually a difficult game for the Shaker to find that Echo.
It definitely is. Yeah, the fights, even the actual team fights are so short. Yeah, the TA just two-shots someone, and then the Shaker's like, well, you kind of want to jump 1 hero, but it's not good enough.
By the way, do you like that panic PK? Because he's a player, he's like, dear God, no.
He got real scared.
He just immediately turns yellow and runs away.
I think it was down to 5 anyway.
Yeah.
It might have been. Yeah, I think that was Sniper. Didn't really nerf at all.
I just think it's the mental state of the team. When you can't really ever see anything and you just see like a flare randomly and you know that if you don't BKB, you have a chance of dying. Like, that's got to be such a feeling to have.
Playing without map control is the worst.
Yeah.
It is actually the worst. Like, even if you have a feeling behind by 10 or 50,000 gold, as long as you feel like you have a grip on the map, it slowly drains your hope when you don't see anything and you just feel like you're getting more corner and you never get to control. But it's much better being behind and feeling like, okay, we have an opportunity to actually come back.
Yeah.
There's just no opportunity to come back. Like you said, cross the river and then so they're gonna have to try to make some more chancy pushes, pushing out lanes further with Clark. It's just so risky with the boots of travel, level 2 of the quad, and of course the quad being able to do anywhere on the map with boost travel, just port to the wave and hook shot in.
World Shop's up again. The question now is Limp still take it, or does he give it to somebody else? Look, good dropping item for it. Good dropping Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's just gonna drop that and go into the tower. So he's the best hero to give it to. He's very difficult to kill, unknown to kill the Templar Assassin once, have to commit key stuns. And then they use the Aegis, he can BKB and they can finish off the lane ranks.
Roshan has fallen
I think
to
we
the
should use
dire.
Moonshard though. Okay. I mean, there's no real reason not to, right? Like, he's got Aegis. Even if he buys Moonshards, he could still... Yeah, he still has buyback, even if he buys an entire Moonshard. And the other choice, too, is... well, maybe you wouldn't get rid of this later if you were trying to go high ground. My Summer is very good.
Refresher.
Yeah. Refresher. Refresher. So you can...
I wonder if it's actually ever been purchased before in PA. It must have never been.
In a competitive game, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've never seen it.
Everything happened before in both.
Yeah, oh, Hex.
Oh, good aggressive force step again. They're going to remove it, the Hex with Echo. Echo get the... It's true or die time for Unknown. They gotta go now. Waiting for Refraction. Limp, you're going to use it in a sec with the next wave. And
We're going to be watching an incapacitating bite. Miss chance. Maybe.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Sorry, I just had to throw it at least once. I actually don't think there's a single point in this game where the Brood is gone on the TA.
I can't go anywhere. Oh, they slam on...
Era, well, they're going to try to still out, but the Glimmer keep doing a ton of work from the side of NiP. The first one to go down is actually going to be on the side of Fisky, and it will be a rise. He buys back into the game. Anyway, Hampton's Jonas and picking himself up by taking out Shtaman, and there's ulti just for good measure. He's still available here on Era if he gets bursted. I don't know. I think maybe he was still alive in the team fight. Another head of field going to be dropped here. Stark trying to make his way out of this team fight. Jonas and Fan has a huge kill. He wants to limb spell. That's going to be one more kill. Fly back again, but that's going to be Mega Creeps, and I think they probably just won there. And there's the GG. Probably won it there. It was a very long and hard-fought bit. They managed to pull through. it seemed like 25, 35 minutes Basically Unknown actually had a really good amount of map control. They were in the position that NiP were for like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes of the game, 25 minutes if you want to call it that. And they just and